Welcome back to the Mariah Carey Iceberg. I'm so happy to be back with Tiers 5 and 6. We're plunging deeper than ever. This is more than just being a fan, it's lamb territory. Thanks for all the love with this series. Anyways, let's get started. Tier 5. Mary Poppins. This is a nickname Mariah gave to herself around the rainbow or glitter era. In an August 2003 interview with Maxim, she mentions that while her image is very sexy, the real her is very prim and proper. She also states that her rough childhood and first marriage played a significant role in adopting the classic persona. At times, she described it as prudish. This was most notably used in Eminem's fake voice notes for his diss track to Mariah, The Warning.
Yeah, I'm right here.
You like this?
Nope, not anymore, dear.
Just see if you like this.
Okay.
No, I'm supposed to know you like this, really. You like this. I glittered it up for you.
What is it?
We're all going on.
Chick, 1995. A topic that's been in the media on and off for the past half-decade. Someone's ugly daughter. By Chick was the 1995 grunge album Mariah wrote at the same time she was doing the Daydream recording sessions. For the last 3 decades, the album had gone pretty unnoticed, as Mariah had her friend Clarissa Dane singing lead while doing the background vocals. Since 2022, Mariah found the version of the album with her lead vocals. The date of the re-release of this project is unknown as of now, but predictions are lying somewhere around fall of 2025, serving as the 30th anniversary. Hate Train, 2014-2018. This is something that requires a little bit of backstory. Let's go to 2010. Mariah, only 2 years out from marrying Nick Cannon, was on top of the world. Her most recent project, Memoirs of an Imperfect Angel, 2009, was certified platinum in the US, spawning quite a couple of top 40 hits. Pregnancy rumors, something that would later be confirmed, were swirling, as well as a new Christmas album being on the way, Merry Christmas to You, which also would be certified platinum. 2011 brought the birth of her twins, Moroccan and Monroe, a successful Jenny Craig campaign, and an also highly successful HSN catalog. It was only natural that her next step would be bigger. 2012 marked the return of Mariah Carey, the singer, with a slew of critically acclaimed shows. There was such a high during this time for Mariah that she signed an $18 million deal to do a season of American Idol. At first, everything was great. There was extremely high ratings, and Mariah was a very entertaining judge. However, the feud with Nicki Minaj put a wrench in the positivity Mariah had going on at the time. While it wasn't the moment that allowed for the hate train to commence, it marked the first of many instances that Mariah's name would be in the tabloids for something negative. 2013 started off quite great. The lead single of Mariah's next album, Beautiful, peaked in the top 20. It would have went further had Mariah not gotten into an accident while filming the video for the remix of the song. Then, the album title leaks. Originally called The Art of Letting Go, the leak made Mariah postpone the album for another 10 months, making the project lose a lot of its anticipation. What followed was the divorce of Mariah and Nick, the infamous Rockefeller 2014 debacle, James Packer, NYE 2016, Mariah's World, and the lawsuit from a former assistant, which we'll talk about later. All of these events combined allowed for a nasty media ragging of Mariah's name. What ended the hate train, you may ask? The 2018 project Caution, NYE 2017, and Christmas. A lot of credibility came back to Mariah with critics and fans alike. Angel's Advocate, 2010. This was the remix album that was to be paired with the release of Memoirs of an Imperfect Angel. Unfortunately, the album never came out. However, we did get quite a few of the intended remixes released separately. It's such a shame. Most don't know that Mariah truly crafts her albums to get a large amount of success. The corporate entities don't always see it that way. Alfred Roy Carey. This is Mariah Carey's father. His story is quite an interesting one. Being of African American and Afro-Venezuelan descent, his father changed his name from Nunez to Carey to avoid discrimination. Being from Brooklyn, New York, Alfred worked majority of his life before and after his marriage to Pat as an aviation engineer. While he knew of Mariah's talent, he always pushed her to work hard in school. He also didn't get a lot of time with Mariah. They didn't see each other at all when Mariah was in her late teens. They would later reconnect in the late noughties to early aughts. He died in 2002. Mariah has dedicated a couple of her songs to him, including Sunflowers for Alfred Roy and Bye Bye, scrapped collabs. Mariah practically lives in the studio. She has quite an expansive, unreleased catalog. She also had a few planned collaborations with other artists. Did you know that the notorious B.I.G. was supposed to be on Butterfly? There was also a scrapped Janet Jackson collaboration in the mid-2000s. Justin Timberlake was supposed to be on Yours, a song from Charm Bracelet, 2002. Lastly, a very popular collaboration with In the Lambelie, Skydiving with Timbaland, was supposed to be released in 2010 with Angel's Advocate. Wendy Williams. Mariah and Wendy have such a complicated relationship. Most know of their 2001 interview, which include Mariah cursing Wendy out after discussing her rumored breast implants. They also had two other interviews in 2002 and 2005, respectively. Wendy is a Mariah fan and has discussed her likeness on the Wendy Williams show so much that there's a multi-part compilation on YouTube that's nearly 6 hours combined. Beauty School. This references Mariah's 500 hours of beauty school she took after graduating high school. She didn't complete the program, but it's enough for her to know quite a bit about cosmetics. Morgan Carey. This is the brother, or ex-brother rather, of Mariah Carey. Like anyone at a young age, Mariah really loved her brother. That's not to say she doesn't love him now, but she keeps a healthy distance from him due to his many betrayals over the years. His most recent, in the public eye, was the ongoing lawsuit he made against his sister after the release of the memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey. In the last decade, he alluded to Mariah's bipolar diagnosis before she was ready to share. He also said she had addiction problems, something that isn't true. He also has other dealings which we'll talk about in later tiers. 7 Mile. This is also one of the groups signed under the ceased Crave Records. They accompanied Mariah on her Butterfly World Tour, 1998. The group consisted of Luther, Shantez, Dayon, and Glynis. They released one eponymous album in 1998. They, along with Allure, were left out to dry when the label dissolved. At least Allure had a top 10 hit. 7 Mile's biggest hit only charted at number 50 on the Hot 100. Howard Stern. In a 1998 interview, Mariah appeared on the Howard Stern radio show after the Blockbuster Awards. What happened next was a 15-minute segment of Howard being as vulgar as possible to Mariah. Honestly, Mimi took it like a champ. The only time she really decided to put Howard in his place was when he said she doesn't sing live. About 10 years later, in the beginning of Mariah and Nick's marriage. Howard apologized to Mariah as Nick and him worked on America's Got Talent together. Flip Malotix. This was Mariah's short fling during the number one's era. He was a part of the group, the Negro League, whom was also signed under Crave Records. Their most notable appearance together was during the music video for the song Sweetheart, 1998, by Jermaine Dupri featuring Mariah. Essentially, he was her rebound after Tommy and Derek. Butterknife incident. Trigger warning for abuse. This was an incident that took place at Sing Sing probably around late 1996 or early 1997. Tommy got into an argument with Mariah in front of his posse at dinner, which gave him more of a power trip. To silence Mariah, he put the butter knife on the table to Mariah's face, as if he was going to allegedly cut her. This was the final straw for Mariah, and ultimately made her leave. Mark Sudak. This is the producer and rumored boyfriend of Mariah between 2003 and 2008. Mark is responsible for a lot of Mariah's catalog on Charm Bracelet, The Emancipation of Mimi, and Mem C2. The rumor stated that he was heartbroken when Mariah announced her marriage to Nick, as they only separated around January to February of 2008, with Mariah getting married in April of the same year. They were quite cute together. Pepsi Ventures. It's funny how during the peak of Mariah's fame in the mid-90s, Mariah didn't have many brand deals outside of Sony. After the mega smash hit that was The Emancipation of Mimi in 2005, Mariah gained a Pepsi deal in 2006. The deal included a performance at the 2006 Pepsi Smash concert, over 20 ringtones, and even a high-budget commercial. There truly was no one bigger than Mariah in 2005. The Emancipation of Mimi 2004 leaks. You have to understand, the comeback of Mariah Carey was perfectly orchestrated, with everything down from the look to the sound to the persona being thought through. Not only that, but this album in particular was anticipated by the general public so much that it marked the highest first-week sales of Mariah's career at that point. With that comes the incessant need to know about the project before it was even completed. Did you know an employee of Mariah's leaked a song and the original title of the album, The Other Side, on Lamb message boards? Your Girl, Say Something, Stay the Night, Shake It Off, and It's Like That were all leaked in the fall of 2004. Mainly because Mariah played 14 one-minute snippets of the songs for fans outside the benefit for the Fresh Air Fund. The album title leaked again, this time being Emancipation in November 2004, with Billboard platforming the leaks on their website. Tier 6. Weakness of the Body, 1986. This is something we mentioned before about 2 videos ago. Again, this was a song Mariah did for Brenda K. Starr, which would end up on an album by a singer named Judy Torres. Good Side versus Bad Side. In the beginning of Mariah's career, presumably around 1989 or 1990, a publicist told Mariah that she had one good side of her face and that she should only take pictures from said side. It stuck with Mariah for a long period of time. Even today, you'll see Mariah prop her head at the same angle to always get her photos just right. She even requests for the furniture to move around during interviews to only show her good side. Rumored recorded studio sessions because of lawsuits. You see, Mariah has always loved to sample music. Ever since Emotions, 1991, Mariah has had a great deal of authority when it comes to the production of her music. Even when Mariah didn't sample or interpolate, she would get hit with lawsuits claim stolen artistic intelligence. Hero was truly the last straw. It was a frivolous lawsuit, as Mariah originally made the song for Gloria Estefan as a soundtrack for a film. While the Butterfly Lounge concept, which goes behind the scenes with Mariah as she creates music, seems like a new thing, Mariah may possibly have back catalog of recorded studio sessions going back to 1994. Notice how the lawsuits stopped for the most part after that year. Original demo tape, 1988. This is pretty self-explanatory. Mariah recorded a demo tape that she would give to labels as a way to get signed. Some of the songs reached Mariah's debut album, but they're sung completely different than the released version. It's something that many of the Lambs hoped would come out of Mariah's MC30 releases back in 2020. I Feel It, 2005. This was a song that was supposed to be on the Emancipation of Mimi album. It sampled the Dynamic Superior's "Here Comes That Feeling Again." When they wouldn't clear the sample for the album, Mariah had to switch it out for another song called "Joyride." It has since been leaked and available to listen for the greater half of 20 years on YouTube. There Goes My Heart, 2002. This song was created for the Charm Bracelet album, but didn't make the cut for the main version of the album in 2002. The song was actually released in 2003 on a limited edition version of the album and has become a cult classic amongst the Lambs, Butterfly Tattoo. Cover-up. Have you ever noticed that when Mariah wears a backless or back-showing dress, she has a glitter-filled butterfly stamped on one specific area of her back? Well, the reason is actually pretty traumatic. This references a situation that occurred between Mariah and her sister Allison from when Mariah was 12 years old. At Pat's house, Mariah was on the phone with her father. Allison didn't want to speak to her father. She didn't even want him to know she was around Mariah and Pat. While Mariah was on the phone, Allison kept giving Mariah funny gestures to signal that she didn't want to talk to him. Eventually, Mariah thought that Allison was joking and attempted to give the phone to her. In an instant, it was almost as if Allison became possessed, losing all humanity from her eyes. Before you could even blink, an entire mug of boiling hot tea was splashed over Mariah's back. She suffered third-degree burns, which mostly healed nicely, except for a particular scar on her lower back. This is one of many reasons Mariah refers to herself being eternally 12, as many traumatic things happened to her around that age. Red convertible. This is the project car Alfred Roy Carey worked on his entire life, but yet to finish before his passing. The hot red Porsche 356 Speedster was picked up by Mariah and restored to its greatness around the mid-aughts. The car was noticeably in the music video for Dr. Beautiful in 2013, as well as a dedicated Instagram post on Alfred's birthday back in 2022. Monar C. This was the now-defunct record label started 2002 under Island Def Jam. The only true albums that released under Monar C was Charm Bracelet, 2002, and The Remixes, 2003. I misspoke 2 videos ago about Trey Lorenz. While he was signed to the label, Mr. Mista was released in 2006, 2 years after the label shut down. Wise Girls, 2002. This was the movie Mariah was featured in that premiered within a year of Glitter, 2001. There wasn't a box office as it was an HBO and Cinemax-only release. The movie received average reviews, but it's a cult classic among fans. It's a mafia-style movie in a cliché Italian restaurant on Staten Island. If you ever wanted to hear Mariah curse like a sailor, this is your film. A little tidbit, Mira Sorvino, the lead actress, got into an argument with Mariah after she arrived hours late to set. It ended with Mariah throwing a salt shaker just over her head. And that's all I have for you today. Didn't I tell you that this video was going to be jam-packed with the good stuff? The next video, which will focus on the tiers 7 and 8, will be explained even more thoroughly as we're in the abyss. This is stuff lambs don't even know about. We'll also partially be talking about blind items, rumors, and gossip catalogs. So please come with an open mind and pitchfork-free hands. As always, it's my pleasure compiling these videos, and I appreciate all the love. Until next week, MariahNellyBjork.